Come closer, let me show you something. Come. Still on this, trying to determine whether there is an intention for parties to be bound in an agreement. There's a way the court looks at domestic or agreements generally, even in the mind of the court, because the court has its own mind, though, leave that thing. And when we are talking about the court having its own mind, you see the judge that owns that court or that is sitting or presiding in that court has a mind. He's also a human being. So he also has relationships. He also understands relationships. He knows which one is commercial in nature. He knows which one is domestic or private in nature. So they also know that, look, there are just certain agreements that cannot be enforceable. They know. And they also know deep down that, look, or even though I think or I know that it's not all agreements that you can enforce, there are also exceptions to that. Especially where the parties, even though it's in a private circle, but you have decided expressly that, look, I want to be clear. We want this thing to be legally binding. Yes, the court has said, no. This is how we look at agreements generally. There are certain agreements that you cannot enforce. But wait, hold on. There are exceptions. And let me give you those 3 exceptions. Where, even in your private life, in that your friendship, in that your family circle, you decide that, because there are formalities, like when we talk about contracts, those that run with land and other things, properties and all that, immovable property, for instance, those are, you now decide that, okay, which has formalities, you now go through those formalities, which means that agreement that you have with that, within that your domestic environment, but you went to employ the formalities of the law to back up that contract. It is already clear that you don't want the court to treat that agreement as ordinary domestic agreement, as personal agreement. No. By the fact that you have backed that agreement up with the formalities of the law, you have already passed the message expressly across to the court that, look, should anything go wrong between me and this person, step in and interpret this thing for us. So when it's also expressly stated, yeah, I know that we are in the same circle together, but I want this thing to be binding so that you will do what you have promised that you will do. I will also do mine. You have also stated it clearly that, yes, so I want this thing to be binding. But when